Okay, we are live. Yep. Thank you all for attending. Yeah, it's cool to see you. Cool. Yeah, and all you out there who are watching and people who are watching later, thank you. I do Dharma teaching, yeah, and that Dharma teaching is applied towards Sangha. Those are people who believe in the Buddha. And the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha is what I do, because I'm Buddha. Yeah, I teach and practice the Dharma. And I practice the same thing I ask the Sangha to practice. Yeah, so it's not anywhere outside the realm of some other thing. You know, like I'm better off, I don't have to do these things. I actually have to do these things. Yeah, and you have to do these things. But the difficulty is that you don't choose to do these things. And I have chosen to do these things. And by choosing over and over and over and over and over again, it changes my ray packages. It alters them for my next life. So if I come into a life where I have difficulties because I have ray packages at a time of a life, you know, like Krishna or Jesus or Gautama Buddha or Padmasambhava or, you know, Milarepa, any of my lives, yeah, tsongkhapa, you know, all of them had ray packages that they're a bit contradictory to the process of getting things done. Yeah, because most of the time, like as Jesus, I had a 2-6. So imagine a 2-6 is a personality of a person who really doesn't want to push anybody, you know, doesn't want to go up against anybody, yeah, wants to do the right thing, wants to serve, yeah, wants to listen, yeah, wants to help and, you know, learn different changing things, yeah, that go on in life, yeah. That would be a 2-6, but the personality of a 6 is very different in a master than it is in a layperson, a regular human being, or even a higher initiate, yeah. Every level of your initiation, your expression through that ray changes, yeah. So as Christ, you know, my initiation, by the time I get on the cross, I'll be a 4th degree initiate. Yeah, and that doesn't mean that I'm just a 4th degree initiate. It means that I'm recapitulating. I'm only 33 years old. You know, no one's ever attained a 4th degree initiation at 33 years old on this planet. Yeah, you know, so and I was doing that. Yeah, and I was doing it because I listened, because I'm a student. Yeah, because that's what a 2-6 does. Yeah, and if you look back in the process, what happened to the kid, Jesus, you know, and him going to the temple and expressing his views, you know, and that they were so clear, so perceptive. Every question that was asked of him, he answered with extreme clarity. Yeah, just knocks the sock off of everybody who's listening. Yeah, and he's only 9 years old. Yeah, but he's a master, 2-6. Yeah. And the difficulty with the world is that the world follows the lowest quality of the 6th ray. Lowest quality. That's in the physical body, in the emotional body, and in the mental body, and the personality. Yeah? People with those rays are people who will, you know, like if you have a 6th ray physical body, what's the deal there? You know, if you have a 6th ray physical body, you're one lazy son of a gun. You know, you're a regular couch potato. Yeah. And your body shows it. Yeah. You have very little muscle. You have an enormous amount of, you know, extra weight. Yeah. And the process is that you do not have actual strength, but you look like it. You know. So you're big and bulky. But you're not what you seem to be. But you're big and you're bulky. You know, so that means that you're kind of like a rhino in a china shop. You know, and that 6th ray is just, you know, just bouncing off of shit. You know, because it's very identifies with things. It wants this thing. It wants that thing. It loves ice cream. It loves hamburgers. It loves shit. Really, just so addicted to things of the senses. Yeah, that supports that sixth ray physical body, which needs to be lazy and just be fed, and eat fried food and eat sweet food, things that are easy, because that's what the sixth ray perceives. That's the view, and that's what's in front of you. You deal with what you have, what's in front of you. Yeah. How do you cope with it? How do you deal with it? Yeah. Well, with humanity, and humanity coming from a sixth ray, you got dinosaurs chasing you, and they're shitting everywhere, and they're eating you, and they're chasing you, and they love to go into caves, and you love to go into caves. Nothing is safe. Nothing is non-anxious. Everything is a predator. Everything. People are predators. All other animals are predators. Even the food you eat makes you sick sometimes. And you start getting all weird because you think, you get paranoid. You're sixth ray physical body. You have a sixth ray physical body. And that's your main ray as a aboriginal. That's your main ray as a normal human being growing out as being a human being. And then you start developing maybe more senses, but 99% of the time you're going to develop another sixth ray somewhere. So you have sixth ray in your physical body, you're made up of that. You develop a sixth ray in your emotional body. And a good majority of people in humanity have a sixth ray emotional body. Now if you have a sixth ray emotional body, that makes you basically kind of dumb, because your emotions always get in the way of the higher mind. They always do. They always question whether or not you're doing the right thing. They always, subtle doubt here, enough doubt over there, keeps you searching, keeps you looking, keeps you wanting to buy something, and you get programmed to think that it's always going to be better on the other sides. This next thing I do is going to be the next right thing, the best thing. And you're learning that from your lower, developed, sixth ray mind. This is the majority of humanity. The majority of humanity. So, I'm sure you heard of 666. And it's not a good thing. It's not a good symbol. It doesn't look good in the satanic verses, 666, all this kind of stuff. And here humanity is 666. And the 666 is something that's impressed upon them and not their nature. It's not their nature. Their true nature is the heart. It's just asleep because they chose the sixth ray physically. They couldn't choose to eat the right thing. They couldn't choose to listen to another person. They couldn't choose to adapt to compassion and empathy and understanding. Those things got in the way of that mind, their emotions and their lower sixth ray way of reacting to things, getting things, hoarding things, keeping things, And then slowly but surely, this being our human race, if we look all the way back to our human race, our majority of our consciousness is 666. But how could we have built a pyramid? How could we have known how to build a pyramid? How could we have cut those stones to be so perfect, laid in place in the pyramids? And not just one pyramid, but most pyramids around the earth, when they built that technology, and these are human beings, I'm assuming, they built that technology and they did not do it with 666. And the main reason they didn't do it is because it fostered their personality to be a 6. So now they're drinking, smoking, out of control eating, out of control in all wrong relationships. No discernment whatsoever, because that's the first thing you lose back down there in the beginning, is your ability to discern and discriminate, to make a choice. Because the sixth ray leads you into the pack. It leads you into a tribe. It leads you into circumstances where you listen and you follow and you think it's the truth. You know? They tell you that tree over there is God. Worship it. You know? And they say it was such sixth ray higher mind than you got, you know? Then that forces you, this 666, is the foundation of a cult. Foundation of a cult. So look at our society. Ooh, we're one big freaking culture. Yeah, we're a cult. Yeah, and there's little, if anything, we could do to get out of it, because it requires a whole other chakra system, a whole other system to manifest inside of humanity. Yeah, and you can't wait for people to wake up and go through initiations or go through all these transitions. You got to just tell them the truth. I believe that. You just tell them the truth. Yeah, and as long as I tell the truth, you know, on all of this, as long as I tell the truth, I'm telling it to your personality. And I've had a sixth ray personality. I was Jesus Christ with a sixth ray personality. Yeah. So I know exactly where you're coming from. I've had conversations with Satan as Jesus. You're too scared to have a conversation with Jesus, because you're subservient to that 666. You know, whether it's in your physical body or your emotional body or your mental body or your personality, or maybe one or two or three of those places, yeah, in your makeup. And if you're not that way, then what's the chance of somebody you know is that way? And this cult thing, you know, is where people, you know, like knock on your door, tell you, have you met Jesus yet? You know, have you started that diet? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Have you sent out your cards for Christmas? You know, is everything all planned out for who you're going to get presents for? Are you all organized in your ideology and your, you know, loyalty toward this sixth ray? Just toward the sixth ray, not toward people. Not toward people at all, but toward the sixth ray. Every single characteristic of the sixth ray, we live by. We live by it. We have wars. We make loans. We make loans rather than decide it's perfectly okay to build houses for $1,500 and buy them for $1,500. And stay consciously clear of what is the truth. But instead, over hundreds of years, yeah, we get people who rack our brains, tire us out, make it so that we don't have enough money. We're hired by a company. They have the house. We'll let you sleep in that house. We'll let you come to the store. We own the store. We'll let you go to the school. We own the school. Actually, we own the town. We're the company, you know? And after generation after generation after generation, your sixth ray built this thing. Yeah? And it's so hard to get out of it. We won't even leave the territory of a tornado. We're so sixth ray. That's physical. That's emotional. That's mental. Yeah? Mental is when you cannot change your mind. Sixth ray. You cannot change your mind. It's the hardest one to change. Any other ray, fourth ray mind, yeah, it will go through the process. Fifth ray mind, you betcha. Yeah, seventh ray mind, oh yeah, it will find the truth. Yeah, a first ray mind, straight to it. Yeah, third ray mind, it will work it out until it's done. Yeah, but not the sixth ray mind. Nah. No, it's busy opening up a crackjack box. Yeah. One after another and thinking about when is the next one coming. Oh, I've got a few on the shelf. I'm fine. You know. I eat Dreyer's ice cream now. You know. And so does my neighbor and my few other friends and everybody at Safeway. You know. A real life. Real loving life. Really loving. Yeah. But in all truth, the store is sixth ray. Your business is sixth ray. You are sixth ray. Your president governs you through the sixth ray. Yeah? Your senators govern you through the sixth ray. And they govern you through the sixth ray. That's where corruption comes in. That's when other rays come into play. And, when they start coming out, because people can't be incarnated with all six rays. And they have a soul and a personality. So there's a 90% chance, almost 100, that neither the soul or the personality will be the same ray. It can't. It's extremely rare. You have to be an incredibly high initiate to have that take place. So it really doesn't take place. Yeah. So around everybody, sixth ray, and primarily usually sixth ray personality too. So you got football going, you got baseball going, you got cards playing, you got gambling going, you got it all going. You got a McDonald's here, and Jack in the Box there. You got more fast food places than you can shake a stick at. Yeah. And you forgot how to cook. Yeah. Why? Because I'm sixth ray. I'm selfish. I'm self-centered. I'm gullible. All those things. Oh yeah, I graduated from high school and I learned nothing. Yeah. I didn't know that they killed Indians. I didn't know it because it was in 20 years it's illegal to say they killed Indians. Yeah. Cultural. That's sixth ray. We keep going down the sixth ray. We're going to destroy everything. We're going to take away all the temples. We're going to wipe away all the giants because, giant, no way. Impossible. Burn it quick. Got to be a demon. Get rid of it. Don't tell anybody. Hide it. We did that. And then in the biggest institute of history, the Smithsonian Institute, the biggest six-ray piece of shit on earth. Yeah? And you can't go in there and see anything. You can only see the little knickknacks they put out on the table. Oh yeah, we exist. Thank you for your tax dollars. Thank you for all the money. You imagine how much they're paid, to hold back the truth. All this is sixth ray. Yeah? And when it comes into the personality, then all of a sudden you got art, and that becomes your culture. And you become a cult. You're thinking Picasso is a freaking master. And he's a pervert, child molesting son of a bitch. Yeah. That's who he is. Everybody knew it. Everybody knew it. Yeah. Picasso. You name it. You name an artist who wasn't a pervert. Leonardo. Pervert. Pervert. Not just a pervert, but he loved little boys. Pervert. Yeah? Today we go, wow, that's probably not so good. Because I'm bringing the second ray in, and I'm bringing the alternative influence of what rays express when they have higher mind, and a second ray rather than a sixth ray. Yeah? You would never know, you'd never know all the pedophilia that goes on the planet. Because it's part of art. It's part of the ray package. Comes with the personality. Comes with the incarnation. And then they bring that energy onto the planet. And you do that long enough, you're going to have cultures that are homosexual. Yeah? And you're going to have violent homosexual relationships. Yeah? You'll have people that are literally bringing in new rays, 4 and 3, through their homosexual life. And that's sixth ray. It's part of the sixth ray. The lust, the desire. You can't fulfill your desire, so you end up in sex magic. And you try another thing, and you try another thing, and this isn't any fun. How about you? Get over here, let's try this. Yeah? Yeah, it goes all through every weird-ass thing you'd ever imagine sexually. Animals, humans, children, you name it. People do it. People do it. They do it today. Yeah? And there's nothing, just very little, stopping it, other than a conscience. That's sixth ray. That's sixth ray. And that's really bad, because that's bringing rays in that should never be expressed like this, especially the fourth ray. The fourth ray is earth. What would destroy the earth faster than anything? It would be glamour, riches, greed, yeah, mansions, kings with 100 horses, yeah, gold, on their hat and diamonds in their tiara. While everybody else is in rags and eating rats. It's the truth. That's England. Yeah? England just 70 years ago. Come on. That's ridiculous. Yeah? And it's all sixth ray. And it's other rays that enter into the personality of a person that expresses the living existence of hell on earth. Yeah? Religious dogmas, religious fervor, first-ray people, third-ray people with sixth-ray personalities. Now you have cult leaders. Now you have people who think that they're wizards. Yeah? Now you have Blavatsky, you got Aleister Crowley, and they're all born babies. They're all born babies. We're looking at them, how cute. Hitler, how cute. Aleister Crowley, oh, what a darling little thing. Yeah. But choices are made from previous lives to this life, and the ray package is set in that person. And now those rays, if they're expressed in the enormous negativity of the sixth ray, 666, yeah, expressing the fourth ray, yeah, and they're almost all the artists are such a pervert. Nobody wants to know them. They're drunk. They're alcoholics. They're diseased. They're mentally insane. Yeah, but then after a while, because you can sculpture, you can paint in the likeness of reality. Well, that's what people were looking for. Statue of themselves. Pictures of God. A painting of Jesus with angels. Yeah? Let's make Mother Mary a goddess. Put stars around her feet and on clouds. Do that, and after a while, people literally think they see that shit. They think they see it. And where they saw it was in a painting. Or in the astral plane of an artist. And a cult manifested into a religion. Look at a religion. It is based on art and music. Based on art and music. Yeah? Everything inside there is the highest priced sculptures, paintings, stained glass, the finest artists, artisans, sculptors, architects. And then they bring in choirs. Little children, people who can sing real good, organs, piano. Yeah? Why? To increase your sixth ray. To increase your sixth ray. So it could be dominated by the seventh ray of ceremonial magic. And it's calling it religion. It's calling it, this is religion. Come on in. Yeah? Yeah? Don't you feel it? Don't you feel that electricity? Don't you feel that awesome power of God coming at you? When the priest talks and the enormousness of everything is sitting there, the paintings and all the colors and the light. You literally go psychologically. Yeah? Your sixth ray amplifies the astral plane to a glamour, a delusion, and an illusion. And literally, here, I'm telling you the truth, but you've lived through this shit. I did not. I did not live through it. Not one day have I ever lived through what you're going through. Yeah, I'm here, but I'm not part of it. Not part of it. I'm here today, but I am not part of what goes on this planet. Not part of it at all. Yeah? I never have been. I never will be. And that's what's going to free you. Yeah? To prove to you, you can get away. You can break away. And you're not going to die from it. No evil Satan's going to take you out. Because Satan is the weakest thing in existence. It's sixth ray. It's petty. It lies. It deceives. Why? Because it ain't got no power. Just like Trump. I won. You stole. But yet, in the truth, he's the one stealing. He's trying to steal the existing president's seat. He's trying to do that. And yet, because you're in a cult, he can say certain words and it implies another thing, as though somebody else is stealing. And yet the truth is, 100% right before your eyes, he's the one doing it. Yeah, that's sixth ray. And other rays, cooperating. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, it's important you understand, because the truth is the truth, but the matter of fact is that this isn't something you can just go like that, and it's over with. It comes through teaching. Yeah? I'm the only one. I know you want to think the Dalai Lama has probably got it, yeah. You want to think maybe the Pope's got it. Maybe one other person's got this shit going. They don't. I'm the only one. The only one in existence, and I always have been. And that's not the way it's going to be. And I'm not tired of pushing this. I'm not tired of, because my history. I've been here a lot. And I say the same thing every time. Yeah? So, yeah, the only people not waking up is yourself. Yeah? There's no way I could be sitting here in the year 2021, Jesus the Christ, in the second coming of Jesus and the reappearance of Buddha, which was expected at this time in books and declared by churches and everything, but yet no one's got the heart or the strength or the courage to step away from Satan. No one. Yeah. Students, yeah. But that isn't where the lunar lords are at. The lunar lords is where you get your energy. That's where you get your energy. Because you don't misuse the seventh ray. You don't misuse the fourth ray. You don't misuse the third ray. Yeah? You don't misuse the first ray. Yeah? You don't misuse the ability of people's weakness in their having a second ray. The devil knows everybody's got a second ray. The devil knows everybody wants to do good for God. And the devil makes you think you're not worthy. Yeah. That's sixth ray. It's only the sixth ray that tells you that. All the other rays are communication skills, ways of getting that message to you. But the only ray that will accept it is your solar plex. So there is a way out of that. Yeah? It's through the 3 jewels. Yeah? It's through the process that when you start behaving sixth ray in your emotional body, you stop it. You get upset, you stop it. Yeah? If you feel the need to scold somebody, give someone a lecture, tell them what they should be doing, and go on and on and on. Your sixth ray is coming not just from your emotional body, but your physical body. That's double trouble. That's a binding process placed on other people. And that's where we get the sixth ray from. So why is it important to stop that? Yeah? Because we don't know at what point is this started. At what point does this really cause a major effect in people? If everybody was to practice, and to practice means you have to be mindful, you have to meditate, yeah? You have to. You have to know what your words are. Right speech is so important. So important. Because it's impossible to have right speech in a sixth ray. You have all this tormenting bullshit going on in your head, thinking that other people are not doing right, and it's your job to make them do right. That's sixth ray. That's the person with the whip. You go sixth ray physical body, sixth ray emotional body, sixth ray mental body. They got the power to have a whip and beat the animal and beat the people and whip things into place. That sixth ray does that shit. Everybody did it. Moms and dads beat us. Yeah. Just till recently. And I'm sure there's still a lot of kids that are getting beaten. You know, getting that belt out or slapping or hollering or dismantling a person's, self-esteem. Because their self-esteem is their heart. And the sixth ray doesn't have a heart. So the sixth ray can only use what it's got. And it has to go at the heart. It has to hurt this person in order to get them to do what you want them to do. And that's vengeance. That's vengeance. It's a characteristic of the sixth ray. And if you have other rays going on, like, whoa, what happens if you have a third ray personality? Holy mackerel, you could be really aggressive. Really aggressive. You can time management, and you can, just be critical on every single level of a person's life. Criticism. Yeah. I know people who are like that, and they can't help it. And people around them really don't like their texts. They don't like them being pushed around. Yeah. I have a lama in Omaha who's pushed around by a nun who has a strong third ray personality, and it deeply affects, the quality of a person trying to integrate their own soul. Yeah. And it just, there's nothing I could do other than say, do soul therapy, try and do it at least once or twice a week. Yeah. We've got your spa, your healing system. Get in there and do it at least once or twice a week. Do color therapy. Why are these things important? Because it takes a person away from the person with the sixth ray who's whipping them and like, you've done wrong. And they always think they're doing wrong. And there's no way of doing right. Yeah? So in the practice of the Dharma, the process is to recognize harmfulness. Discern, discriminate what is harmfulness, and not to whip back on yourself. Oh, I'm harmful. That's just like, wow, that's like sixth ray personality with sixth ray everything. And that's because the sixth ray is the one thing that's going to keep you from your soul, keep you from your heart. You have to love yourself. You must love yourself. It's so much to love. You're there with it forever. You're always going to be with this person forever. Yeah? It's time to get to know yourself. It's time to not be under the influence of the sixth ray and learn what that is and begin getting rid of it. Get rid of it. Yeah? I always teach, hey, don't get fanatical, don't do vegetarian, don't do this and that, and I'll help you with your diet, be carnivore, because in the end that's what we're going to be, and in the end that's what's going to save the planet, and in the end that's just going to be the truth, and we're all going to be so much healthier for it. Yeah. But you're so freaking sixth ray, that's too soon, that's too fast, that's too direct. Wow, where do you come from to say shit like that? We got to go Baleo, we got to go, because you will channel your sixth ray frequencies and you will block me out. Yeah. And that cult aspect, there always has to be a leader. I'm telling you, there isn't a person walking around that hasn't had a life of being a cult leader. Whether it be in your family, or in your job. Yeah? Yeah, even in Boy Scouts or in football or basketball or anything, wherever you find yourself to be in a hierarchical situation and everybody else is a peon, you know, when you get to that level, they always say those other people who are in charge, don't get too close to the employees. No fraternizing. It's in our contract. You know, if you're going to take this next level, you'll lose your job if you start dating at this point. And why is that? Because you would start gaining a heart. And the business would fail. Yeah, because the capitalists on the top aren't supposed to care about anybody on the bottom. They should be fired if need be. And you don't want to get close to anybody if you need to fire someone. It could ruin your life. Yeah, it's all sixth ray. The intention of even becoming president is a sixth ray intention. And it shouldn't be. It should be service. It should be second ray. You know, we've had many presidents who are second ray. Yeah. You know, so it's all Buddhism. Every single bit of this thing is Buddhism. Yeah. And we all got to practice. Yeah. And the hardest thing is getting rid of your thought of thinking, oh my God, how much sixth ray am I? Yeah. How much sixth ray have I been? Yeah. And, you know, am I channeling sixth ray? Am I just a freaking psychic low-level, you know, you name it. All negative thoughts that you can possibly conjure up in order to help you, you know, not relax, you know, not allow your second ray to grow up, to be what it is, because you are 100% second ray, 100%. Yeah, you are 100% spiritual. Yeah, it is inevitable that all your chakras are to work together, and they will be centered through your heart, and all the chakras come out of your heart. So how can you be anything other than a heart? It's impossible, other than channeling. And I explain, I teach that this guy Trump, this person the Dalai Lama, this person the Pope, yeah, these people who reincarnate, yeah, Hitlers, Mussolinis, they do reincarnate, people do reincarnate. And if you understood, you would understand that Hitler had a fourth ray personality. Yeah? Mussolini had a fourth ray soul. Yeah? Blavatsky had a fourth ray soul. Yeah? These are evil people, cult leaders, dictators of the world. Yeah? And they're primarily fourth ray. And the fourth ray is the one that believes in, this is the best thing to do. I'm going to wipe out the planet. I'm going to wipe out these other countries because they're after me. They're after us. They're trying to keep us from doing what we should be doing. Yeah? Delusions. Complete delusions. All based on previous life fourth ray perversions. Yeah? Hitler was an enormous pervert. Yeah? Trump is an enormous pervert today, let alone yesterday, his previous life. Oh my God, can you imagine? Yeah? His entire family. The fourth ray. Can you imagine if you're a person like Michael Jackson, you come into life, and everybody has the ability to move up the ladder toward bodhicitta and live a simple life. Get off on smelling flowers. Yeah? Yeah? Get off on petting a horse. Yeah? Enjoy the fact that children grow up in families and they're protected by a mother and father. Yeah? Enjoying that. Yeah? But what if you're not that person? What if you're an artist? What if you're fourth ray? What if you don't see life like that? What if you think you're Pan? Peter Pan. What if you think you're immortal? You should be young all your life. A little kid. Like Peter Pan. You know? And we just think of him as Michael Jackson. You know, but holy mackerel. His whole place is based on Peter Pan. His life, his look, and everything is based on Peter Pan. The guy's nuts. Yeah? But he's not only nuts, that means that he sees a view, yeah, of the children not in a family. Not with a mother and father and protected and all the relationships that comes from the heart. Doesn't see it that way. Nor does an LGBT. Yeah? Nor does a gay guy or a gay girl. They don't have that view. They do not see man and wife loving each other. Actually, that really turns them off. Makes them upset. Makes them sick. Yeah. Because they're so perverted that the nature of the law of love makes them sick. And it makes them do things that are the opposite of it. And those are glamours. We are not real. We are spiritual. We are spiritual. And if you don't learn what I'm telling you, you know, that you are 100% spiritual and you're messing with dynamite. You're playing with the devil. You're using your physical body in order to make it through the next day without disconnecting from the suffering that's being caused in the world. And once you get to know what cause of the suffering really is, yeah, it is breaking the law in the law of love to not begin turning toward the law of love. Because all strength and all courage and all ability to be able to completely wipe away all the glamours completely, all comes out of the law of love. Yeah. So practicing the Dharma is what turns the wheel. But practicing the Dharma means that you understand the teaching and that you can reflect on the teaching, and that teaching is your will. Yeah? It's how you see life. No circumstance comes up to where you have anger, to where you have emotions, to where you are upset, to where you are jealous of a person, to where, you know, for any reason a person makes you upset. Yeah? If it does, you have to stop right then and there. You have to stop because you're being possessed. It's not you. It's something that is part of you and it's happening right now, and in order to release it, you have to do something spiritual. You have to see yourself as Buddha. I'm not having this thought. I will not have this thought. Because that's what happens inside a Buddha. You should see me sometimes. I'm a very aggressive person. When it comes down to the forces of negativity trying to come through my mind and trying to force itself out my mouth. Through conversations with people and actions and activity, I get really aggressive. I mean, I get overwhelmingly aggressive. Yeah? But I'm clear about what I'm saying. And it's whether I'm really aggressive or I'm not aggressive. You get the same words. Yeah? I call out the devil. I don't aim at the person. I don't tear the person down. I tell them right now, in this room, right in this very moment, we are standing with the devil. And it is channeling right now. Let's both let this out. Yeah? And I'm the one, usually the one, who meditates. You know, and go into mindfulness. And I say these words, and I express these things, and I contain it. And it has to be transmuted through your body. Because your body is made of love. You can't think it can't be you, and you can't judge yourself thinking it is you, and that you're doing something wrong. In order to stop doing the wrong, you have to be mindfulness that that's happening. Yeah? And then relax. Yeah? Get out a Weaver. Get some essences. Yeah? And just keep doing it. Do it every single time it comes up. Every single time. And trust me, it will come up whenever you interact with another person. Yeah? Because you're 100% spiritual. and you don't know it. You think you're just walking around, you can grab the door handle of the car, you get in the car, you have to turn it on. It's all very mechanical, Turn on the radio, it either works or it doesn't work. It's all very mechanical, If I try hard enough, it will work, Well, how is it that doesn't bleed over to another human being, those ways of thinking? That they're just an object, not a real person. I mean, it's a very different thing in love. In a state of love, it's a very different thing to experience life. Because it's not like you're passionately in love with everybody and everything, but you're free from being angry at people and having fault come into you. It's not coming from you. It's coming to you. So in mindfulness, you go, well, okay, I really think I shouldn't be talking to this person. I think it'd probably be better if I just didn't. And if in a group, in a sangha, I recommend you talk to me. Tell me the situation. And I'll walk it through. But there won't be any sixth ray in the process. We'll all continue with second ray, and you'll learn from how I do it, how I talk, and how I say things, and how to work it out. Trust me, it'll be tremendously different than the way you'll do it, because you have the edge of vengeance and the edge of jealousy and the edge of glamours that are just seething inside you that need to express. And that creates harmfulness. And usually it just comes inside you and it becomes emotions, and it goes into your higher mind through your emotional body. It affects your higher mind, and now no longer can you think positive thoughts. Now even when you listen to music, it's not interesting. It's dull. I'm not moved by it. I'm doing the same thing I did yesterday, but I'm not as happy. That's because everything, our mental, emotional, physical body, our soul, our personality is spiritual. They are elemental forces. Each one of those things is an elemental force. It's not real. I mean, I understand your mechanical understandings of thinking that your eyeballs is like the lamps on a car. You can see shit. It sees shit, just like a camera or something. But it's not like that, people. It's not like that. You're not like that. We do have seeing. We do have that. We have senses. We have so many things. But we are, in reality, 100% spiritual in a physical body. That has physical limitations. It is not immortal. But our soul is. Our experience can be. It can be immortal. Masters, when you get to this point, you'll understand everything I'm talking about. Everything I'm talking about. It'll be like a glimmer of light. Every word becomes an ocean of light. But that's because it's second ray. It's second ray. I can walk in your shoes. I'm not sixth ray, even though I've been sixth ray. But I took that sixth ray and lifted it up. And brought it into an ascended sixth ray, which is nothing like the quality of the sixth ray that you would consider. All the things humanity goes through, all the things of our personality, all the things of our suffering, our questions, our lower mind, our lack of doubt, too much caring, too much of everything. All that is the misuse of those other rays that come into play. And we would have never brought that fourth ray into the brow if it hadn't been the time that the evil Dark Lodge shamans and artists and Dark Lodge lords came into being. It was their activity, their behavior, their desire to overcome their situation of limitation and gain control over that and hoard. Have gold and silver and diamonds. Who do you think said that this gold is rare. And we got to make something famous of it. Yeah, had to come from someplace, because it doesn't come with the symbol on it saying that this is the most precious thing on earth. It doesn't come with that. It doesn't say it. So where do we get that idea? Yeah. It's in the mind of people, in greed. Yeah. It's a way to create a form of thought form, yeah, that makes us more materialistic. Yeah. Wherein all these things, all these minerals and elements and things, they are also spiritual. This whole planet is spiritual. Our sun is spiritual. Yeah. We don't need to revere it. We don't need to, look at a solar system process and start praying to it. Yeah. We need to be ourselves. Yeah. And the only way we can do that is if we know that the astral plane, the influence of the astral plane, is what's affecting us. So we have to take a process of, it's like taking an opposite to any given thing. Yeah, you have a negativity, you have harm, you have all these different things. Well, if the sixth ray is what it is, and it has so much of that sixth ray is developed in humanity, and its natural course is in its lower course, it brings about religious dogma, delusions and illusions and fantasies over a truth, right on top of a truth. God does exist. Well, the religion basically gave us a story to think God might exist, but it doesn't really verify God's existence. Yeah? But yet God's existence does exist. Yeah? So is it possible that the religions are actually based on a cover-up of God? And that God always exists at all times. Yeah? But the process of religion is to create a mystery. Yeah? And that if we unveil that mystery, we're more enlightened than other people. And the more we uphold that mystery, the more we are religious. Yeah? And then we can take those mystery books and make them more mysterious, by giving certain doctrines and informations that supposedly led to a certain event and a certain this and that, all leading into false history, false religion, false reality. Yeah? When real reality, we have ancient scenarios, we have temples that we have built that we can't remember. Yeah? We have Stonehenge and we can't remember. Yeah? We have the Great Pyramids and we can't remember. We are in the time that Tibet has been torn down and temples been destroyed. Yeah? And there's nothing being done about it. Nothing. China just says it's ours. We don't mention Tibet. Don't say that. Don't say it. Don't say Tibet. You're in trouble. No. We won't come to America. We won't come to Africa. Don't say Tibet. Yeah? And nobody says Tibet. Yeah? Nobody goes in to do anything. We go to war everywhere. Did we go to war in Tibet? No. No, we didn't. Yeah? There's a reason. Because the influence of Buddhism would conquer the influence of capitalism and would bring about true democracy and bring about human rights and bring about a new age of governing. Yeah. And the reason why Tibet went down the way it did is because, I'm in Tibet, but I'm just a singular person who's trying to teach people who are totally possessed. Tibetans. And you wouldn't think in your mind, oh, Tibetans, they wouldn't kill a fly, they're holier than holy, but that's not their history. Their history is that they are the number one shamanic demons, practitioners of demonology on the planet, the oldest ones. And they did that in order to fight Christianity, to fight Buddhism, to dispel the possibility that we could become Buddha, to create more relationships with demons, more relationships with evil spirits. creating a shamanic activity. Yeah. And that was all Tibetan Buddhism, and that affected all of India, it affected all of Nepal, it affected everywhere down there. And it's all screwed up. Now we have terrorism comes from there, crazy people come from there, the worst possible religions come from there, and they have no idea where their religion comes from, like Muslims. They don't even know where Mecca is. Not really. All the archaeologists today have realized that Mecca is not where they say it's at. It's impossible. Yeah? Mecca in history, which isn't that far long ago in history, we're not talking 10,000 years ago, we're not talking that far back for this. Yeah? And it's described very clearly in books. Yeah? It's described, in the Muslim text. The city where he came from, what the city was like, a basis of where it might have been located. Not exact, but it was in Arabia somewhere. Yeah. And it had trees all around, it had fruit, and it had all kinds of vegetables, and there was a very nice place. But that's not where Mecca is. This day's Mecca. Yeah. This day's Mecca is a desert. Always has been. When they check out for trees inside the dirt, old, maybe long, long ago, they dig deep inside, there's nothing. Yeah? Nothing. No trees, no plants, no nothing. Just really old dirt and rocks. Tens of thousands of years. So this is the wrong location. Yeah? And they did, and the Christians or the Hebrews did the same thing. They think, wow, this is where, this is where we do our prayers. This is the Holy Land. This is where we kept our Ark of the Covenant. And this is where all of our holy prayers were sitting. And they believe in a spot that's the location where it's at, and it's not. It's not the location. Yeah. And what's really important, because of the fact that we're 100% spiritual, and that our evolution, our growth, comes from not glamour, but from practicing the Dharma. And that means that we study. We learn from history. We learn from masters through the study. We go to those sacred sites they say exist. We go there and we find those relics. This is in a list of things that happen inside of humanity if they are spiritually developing. And if they're not, these things go away. We do the opposite. We throw away the relics. We don't think that there are any such things as relics. We don't think that people can become holy. Yeah? And all these things just kind of wipe away, because in Allah's land, there is no human being that becomes holy. None. No human being becomes holy. Yeah? Yeah? Just Muhammad, the prophet. Yeah? And that directly aligned. But it doesn't leave you anything. Yeah? And they got the wrong location. Yeah? All sixth ray. Whether it be religions, even sciences. Yeah? Even relationships. Yeah, how do we deal with our relationships? How do I deal with being a Jew? Now we've been on this planet all this time, and I'm a Jew, and we're in the year 2021. Do I still wear the yarmulke? Am I still a traditional Jew, or am I like, a rocking Jew, kind of cool? Yeah, a New Age Jew. Yeah. I mean, this is a ridiculous scenario. It's all sixth ray. Yeah. And each influence really has lost its way because of these glamours. All these glamours. And the only way out, I don't care what religion you were born in, I don't care what nationality you are, I don't care what race you are, I don't care whether you're male or you're female or you're confused. I don't care. Yeah? The only thing I care about is the Dharma. Yeah? The Dharma. Yeah? And to do the Dharma, you have to practice to become a member of the Sangha. It's the purpose behind Buddha's incarnation. The purpose behind the Dharma is to teach. The teacher teaches. Yeah? Teacher, Buddha. Yeah? Dharma, teaching. Yeah? Sangha, believers. Believers. Yeah? Now you can say you're a believer, but you're not going to get out of samsara, and you're going to end up in the bardo. You know? Truth is the truth. Yeah? And because you're practicing the Dharma, it becomes harder. Yeah? Because every time you put your foot toward the bardo or deeper into samsara, it's harder for you to pull it out and do the right thing and not feel guilt and not feel that, oh, I should have done this a long time ago. And everybody goes back, oh, boy, if I had just done that then, Or, oh, maybe I'll do it when I'm ready. I'll be healthier in about 6 months, and I'll pay this off, and I'll get this done, and I'll be all right. Things would be better for that. That's all sixth ray. And the other rays that have come in that you have received as your soul and your personality rays in order to help you get your mastery as a Buddha, as a bodhisattva. That's what those rays are for. Soul ray, personality ray, is an expression that comes from Buddha, gives the teachings which is the soul, yeah, and it enters into the human in all levels, all the rays, yeah, everything a person is. And it's all based on whether or not you can be in the Sangha. If not, then, the spirituality is going to go the other way. Energy does not just sit there. It doesn't just sit. Yeah? We're not just inert objects. That's why meditation is so important. Yeah? To tune in. Yeah? To find a balance in yourself so that you don't have that anxiety. It calms it down. That's why I gave the etheric weaver. That's why I give all these things. Because all these things are parts of symbols. Things that we're supposed to be attracted to. Yeah? Supposed to have an understanding of. Yeah? They're close to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years of lifetimes of us seeing these symbols make manifest. Sometimes they come out of the sky. Vajras fall out of the sky. Yeah? Yeah? Statues of Buddhas you find, relics that people find. Yeah? That were like 10,000 years ago. They find them in a cave, they get through the cave, and they go in, oh my God, look at all these people in here, and they're all sitting like that. What's going on? What were they doing? How can they do this? This is weird. But it's you. You're reincarnated. You come back. You found that spot. You walk back in, and you are asleep. Yep. This is all. It's not a dream. This is the material world, and we are in a process, yeah, to where we can make a difference, yeah. And the way we're looking at things, we can't make any difference at all. Only in your own little life, only in your life, can you make a difference. But in the truth, we can take away all the suffering on earth. We can take away all the suffering. We can take away all the ignorance. Yeah? We can include into the world soulful qualities which are virtues. Magnificent characteristics which are funny, hilarious, illuminating, expressive, satiristic. Getting us through this shit. Yeah? That's what we do. Yeah, we don't take it with the, with kind of thing. We take it with a little lightheartedness. Because we've been doing it long enough. The heart just comes right out in a time of need. Yeah, And that lightheartedness makes everybody more courageous, more relaxed. They feel like they're going to make it. Yeah? And we can get through this thing. And now they're capable. Their second ray is reaching into their emotional body, because you are not steadfast a machine. You're not a Buick. Just because you got these rays you were born with doesn't mean that you are steadfast as a machine. You're not. You transmigrate your soul. You infuse your soul. Your soul infuses into every one of your vehicles. Each one of your vehicles goes from sixth ray to second ray. And every single time, every single person goes through this sooner or later. Yeah? And many times it doesn't happen until the last minute of the last breath, and you're looking down at your body. Honest to God. It starts there. And that's terrible. That's really terrible, people. Yeah, I guess you don't see the joke, but it's pretty terrible. you know, and then you go and you know, because we're not orienting ourselves with this second ray, more and more and more, every time we have the courage, and when you sit back and you go, nope, I'm not going to do that. It took courage and strength. That being kind is better than being angry. So I'll wait for the kindness. Yeah? I'll wait. I'll calm down. I'll do this another time. Because this is not working. Yeah? And it's not you. It is the spirit of cooperation. It is elemental. It's a force. And it's not found in the astral plane. It's not found in the astral plane. It's found on the etheric plane. It's there. Everything is there in the etheric plane. Everybody's an angel. All things are complete. Everything has its, corn is a corn. Tomato is a tomato, whether it be a seed or a tomato. It is that forever. Yeah? Doesn't matter if it's a seed or a full-grown tomato. Yeah? The energy of it is there. The fullness of it is there. The matrix that it's going to manifest into becoming a tomato is right there. And it's not in something else. It's only in that. Yeah? And we're that way. And we're not a machine. Yeah? So we're transcendental. We're not of the vegetable kingdom. We're not of the animal kingdom. Yeah? We're the human kingdom. Human kingdom means that we have an aura. Yeah? We have an aura. It's not an astral aura. It's an aura of our soul. It is chi. It's a magnitude. It's bigger than our physical body. It's more powerful than our physical body. It could see beyond our physical realm, beyond limitations. Yeah? That's where hope comes from. That's where faith comes from. That's where God comes from. Yeah? And that's in that soul. That's in our heart. Yeah? We all have this, but we have to make sure we raise ourselves into that place so that we express that heart at a time of need. That's what we're here for. We're not here so that we have a good heart and we're okie dokie, and everything. We are, But the main thing is to realize everybody is suffering. And you must not do anything to aggravate that. Yeah? Because it's not them. It's just like you. It's coming from outside them. You don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know what's happening. And it's not good. Yeah? Cancer could be in a year and it's already festering. Yeah? And these things are known inside the body. They're known inside the mind. They're known in the soul. And personality does not want to hear it. Doesn't want to hear it. So it'll block everything out and continue going on down the road, doing all the bad things that it needs to do in order to maintain waiting to die. Getting through another day, just another day. Yeah? Because we're not here to die. We're not here to die. Yeah? We're here to be 100% alive and to practice Buddhism. Yeah? Because we're not what we see. We're not human beings walking around getting a bigger belt size and getting flatter feet and getting ankles that don't work anymore and getting hips that just fall apart and getting spines that just get crickly, and a brain that goes disastrous by the time we're 70 years old. That is not us. It's not who we are. We're highly vital, intuitive, powerful beings. Yeah? And all that is what Buddhism, only Buddhism. Yeah? We can say Christianity, but Buddhism includes Christianity. It's the only one. My Buddhism is the only practicing form of understanding in God's form that includes all the understanding of gods and demigods. I understand them all. But I also know where their weaknesses are at and why they're not what they say they are. Yeah? Demigods and gods, human beings, evil spirits are all outside the realm of God. God's God. Yeah? Unless they take refuge in God and become one with God and become humble in the process as God is humble. Yeah? Because you can't be all these glamours and yet God's not one of them. Not one of them. Yeah? God's not interested in a Rolls Royce, God's not interested in a mansion. Yeah? Just not there. It's not something he's going to work for, not something he's going to ask for, not something he needs. Yeah? But in a sixth ray body, yeah. It fits the cult, the culture, the ideal, of getting up there. It doesn't matter who you are, demigod, demon, whatever's going on, yeah. It all has to come in contact with Buddha, yeah. And every human being is in relationship with spirits, enormous amount of them. And if we practice our Dharma, we will close the door to the astral plane. We will close the door to the astral plane. We will create a finite line, a direction, a path for every living being to follow, to bring this planet on its most safest course. Yeah? Because this planet is spiritual and it needs the direction of God. Or like yourself, it becomes elemental, chaos, and destroyed. And die. And it never really dies. Just gets old, burns up, Million years later, it comes back around, we get another tree, start getting more bugs. Billion years later, we got people walking around. There's no death here, not really. This place goes moving on and on and on. Our problem is that we don't know about the reality of our Dharma, the reality of our existence, where we come from, why we should not have these thoughts, and then we should put our faith in the fact that having those thoughts need meditation, because God is meditation. You're not meditation. You have to ask meditation to come to you, be a part of you. Yeah? Then you need to be mindful to hold on to that and not go, I'll meditate, but I need to check this out. Do your texting or whatever, You got to lay it down. That's mindful. Yeah? You got to stay focused on it. Yeah? That's right behavior, right action. Yeah? Yeah. Imagine we have a president today who has not a lot of people. There are a lot, but not a lot. Yeah, and it'll get less. But to have a sixth-ray physical body and a sixth-ray emotional body and a sixth-ray mental body is a horrible thing. Yeah, it's a horrible thing. And it is more of a curse that one puts upon themselves by following the wrong path. Yeah, and that path could be ended in a minute because you have built within you other rays that are willing to be reborn. Changing your sixth ray emotional body to a second ray emotional body. Yeah? Changing your mind to more of something more balanced in relationship to your physical personality race. Yeah? Because most commonly, on a healthy level, when chakras are beginning to move, people's mental ray and people's personality ray and people's physical ray are very similar. Yeah? And most commonly, their mental ray and their physical ray are very similar. Yeah? Those are just common. But that could also mean that they're similar in terms of the rays and how they express. There's hard rays and soft rays. Yeah? 1, 3, 5, and 7. Those are the hard rays. They're very mental, very intellectual, very hard. Yeah? Very aggressive in their nature. Unless they come to the second ray. Yeah? If they come through the second ray, then they actually untie things that are very hard. And they stop accidents from happening. And you never know an accident is going to happen because it's an accident. It just comes out of the blue. And all of a sudden you got shit going on. You know? But the right use of these things gives you a sense of deja vu, a sense of telepathy, a sense of certain ways of feeling things. And that passes through you. And as you practice your meditation, as you practice your mindfulness, as you practice what you're doing, you have thought form building energies of the same rays, rather than creating glamours that make people go and do the wrong thing and mess up their life and, waste their time. Yeah. Instead, from your meditation, you're bringing a totally different package of rays into your vehicle. You're bringing a second ray immediately, and that's soulful. Yeah. So that comes into your vehicle. Well, that illuminates your emotional body. So all of a sudden you've got a soul energy passing into your emotional body that before it had vampire energy passing into your emotion. It wasn't yours. It's what you're reacting to. A vampire. And there are more vampires out there than you can shake a stick at. I mean, everywhere. Everywhere. It's a predator-vampire game. I don't care who you are. I don't care how you look. The process of sucking people and taking their energy and lying to them and deluding people and being delusionary in yourself and not being able to carry out a truth, is bad. That's vampiristic. Yeah. So how you live your life and where you work and what you do, all these things in the 8 qualities. Here, I got this written down somewhere. Yeah, this is the Eightfold Path. And this is a path of compassion. That's what I call it. That's what we call it. Buddhists call it the path of compassion. It requires empathy. Yeah? So in order for you to begin your empathy, you have to choose to meditate. That is an empathetic expression. Yeah? Yeah? And here you have a view of something and it's staggering, it's bothering you. You have an intention behind something, but you're not sure if it's the right thing you should be doing. You're spiritual, you want to make sure you're doing the right thing. Your action, you want to make sure your actions are right. Your speech, you want to make sure your speech is right. How are you making your money? Are you ripping people off? Are you really doing what is right? Are you honest? Yeah. Is your effort, truly right effort? Is it an effort that is bringing about something that is good on all these levels? Yeah. And your mindfulness and your meditation, all of that is the Eightfold Path. And why we call it an Eightfold Path is because it builds a path. The Sangha creates this path. I already am there. I have the path, yeah? But I can't do anything about it without the Sangha. I require the Sangha to practice. I provide all these things, and I provide the memory and the history of monastery, the memory and the history of the fact that we've done all this before. I try and provide all that in all the teachings that I do. But the main thing is that we have to become a practitioner. You have to be a practitioner. You can't not be a practitioner, yeah? Which means you must have a place that you go to meditate, yeah? You must meditate, yeah? Because you're a practitioner. You must meditate. And this is on a daily basis, not every once in a while, but on a daily basis. And it's usually initiated in a ceremony to where you go, okay, I'm going to begin my practice when I wake up, yeah? And I'll make sure every word that comes out of my mouth and everything that comes out of my heart is joyful. Yeah, and it's honest, because after a while you realize you really are happy and you really are where you want to be and you really are doing what you want to do, but you haven't expressed that. Yeah. So part of that is how you get the right view is that you present the right view, and then you'll have the right view. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. And then your right intention. If you go around and you start your morning that way, every bit, it's got to be from the moment you wake up. The moment you wake up, it is happy time. Joy to the world. The Lord is born. We're all here. All that kind of stuff. Yeah. But it's mainly the process of action. Yeah. Everything you're going to do, you want to make sure you're doing it in right mind. You're doing it in Dharma. You don't know what your path in Dharma is. You don't know if you want to drink coffee. You don't know if you want to eat. You don't know if you want to sleep longer. You don't know. You're not sure because you're not on the path. You're always going to have those things. Am I getting enough sleep? Am I eating the right thing? I will always be possessing you until you practice the Dharma. Does that make sense? Yeah? Because it's the truth. Whether you believe me or not, you're going to be looking down on your body and you'll hear these words. And you go, oh yeah, this is how I'm going to deal with this. Yeah. And now I'm walking away from my body and I'm going to go do what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it with joy. Because if I don't do it with joy, after you die, if your attitude isn't straight, you're going to attract to you really weird shit. Really weird shit. So it's really important to practice Dharma so that when that moment does happen, your practice will continue through the moment of your death. And you'll be moved on to your next life and have very few problems, and it'll all be carried over into that. Yeah. But being able to do what we're doing is to see yourself as a practitioner. Because you're working toward being a healer. And when you're meditating, you're mindful, your effort, your livelihood, your right speech, your right action, your right intention, your right view, all these things are turning the wheel. Right view, right action, right intention. You have to push the wheel. You have to push it. Each time when you push the wheel, you're pushing the wheel of life. You're supporting the wheel of life. All the children on the earth are going, whoa, getting a pickup. Because you never know how powerful you really are until you stop your bullshit. and you calm down, you begin practicing, and you really do it. It's not, because you can be here for 20 years, you can be in Shambhala for 20 years and never really become a practitioner, you know. Never really pull out your puja book, never really sit there and do whole puja, you know, never really sit there and you know, knowingly I do soul therapy every day, you know, or I meditate every day, or I listen to the puja that I'm hearing every day, or I do an etheric weaver on myself, or I do my essences, you know, and all these things are taught in the Dharma as part of the practice of Dharma. And if you have your reactions acting in these actions, then you're a practitioner. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah. And these things, because the truth is that the astral plane is that we all interconnect and we all send out bad vibes. We're all doing that. And we have no idea that that's what's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. And we can't turn it around and go, now you stop being angry at me. Now, you can't do that. You have to stop being angry, period. Yeah? And if they get angry at you, you have to have the strength to walk away. Not argue. Well, walk away, you know? And just say, you know, I just want to meditate or something. Yeah? But find your center. Yeah? Everything, there isn't anything in our life that isn't based on being a practitioner. There isn't anything. There isn't an engineer job. There isn't anything in life, because we are not this mechanistic being. Yeah, nor are the people next to us. We are rare. Rare. So rare. Angels, you know, without wings. You know, imagine angels without wings. You're fallen to the ground. You cannot fly. You do not have any of your senses, including your mind, including your telecommunication, your sense of love and well-being from other people, you know, that enormous, wow, I really love being here, you know, because everybody loves me so much. That's a nice thing, yeah? And there's no reason why we don't get that, why we don't have everybody loving us, you know? You deserve it, yeah? But you have to practice. You have to practice, because we have to vibrationally lower that wall and close the door till it doesn't exist. And that's only going to happen by intentionally practicing, knowing that you're practicing, knowing that you're in connection with a teacher, yeah, who is presenting a path. And you're going to practice that path, and it will connect to every living human being who will become a member of that path. And all religions that we know will be gone. They will all go into awakening by study, by us studying those religions, compiling that understanding, and realizing that's a bunch of bullshit. That was a con game. That asshole. Because when you're in your heart, you can look at the Pope for who he really is, and not go, oh, now I have to kill myself for saying bad things for a holy person. And I'm a bad person saying bad things against a holy person. Who am I? You know, in our world, we investigate everything. We question everything. Yeah, that's Buddhism. That's our job. That's our practice. Yeah, is to research and investigate and clarify, discern, discriminate. Yeah. That's true Buddhism. That'll lead us to the greatest of sciences, the greatest of engineering, the greatest of government, the greatest of service, the greatest of working out of any problems that we've ever had. Yeah. Just because we have this ability. Yeah. But we have to be practitioners in order to close the door of the astral plane so that we can begin into another world of sciences, that's the etheric plane. And until we reach that, we will always suffer. We will always suffer. The truth fits. It's like a mandala. The truth has symbols, and it has relics, and it has sacred reality and sights, and all these things that affect our senses and we are drawn to them to recapitulate and bring the past light back into the earth and not let it die due to a lack of interest. Does that make sense? Because there is no reason I study the way I do. If anybody ever knew me, I study like a crazy man. I study everything. I study so in depth it's ridiculous. I study things that make no sense whatsoever, and I study them to the end, And that information actually comes bleeding out into humanity, as access for people to have their history come back without you having to study and read all the lies and the illusions behind what the Dalai Lama might have said or what this person, and then you're stuck behind that illusion and you can't look any further because it would be wrong for you to go there, think about it, study it. It's not wrong for me to say I want the entire process of the Pope to collapse. I want the halls that are in that building to be opened up to archaeologists and researchers, and for all of it to be cataloged, identified, put on video, and archived. Every single bit of it. And so all of us have the ability to witness the truth of our history, our truth. That's the door of the astral plane. It is so big because it's all about putting that fifth ray down here and all these religions that tell us that we do not have the right to ask these questions. I mean, they'll put you up against the wall and shoot you as a traitor, as a heretic, if you ask these questions 500 years ago. So, and where I come from, I do not give a shit. You can take my life, you can string me up, you can do anything you want, but I ain't going to stop. This whole thing is an illusion. And all the suffering is held together because we don't practice the Dharma. The original teachings. It's not teachings to come, it's not teachings of this and that. It is the original teachings. It's the teachings. They never change. They never change. That means the teacher never changes. The one who gives the teaching never changes. I may look as normal, average guy you can imagine. But there's the biggest unchanging reality in this guy. And everybody changes. People change from 10 years old to 15 years old to 20 years old to 60 years old. And, everything about them changes. They can even change their gender. They can do so many things. But the truth is that we're angels. And we need to attune to a path that'll get us back to the path of God that we all are on. And once we're all on it, you'll be so impressed by the quickening of humanity. Right now we have electric cars and all the things that are going. That's because of the quickening of humanity, the awakening of the soul, the moving of a lot of people that are buying my tools, listening to my music, becoming Buddhist. Going online, going, he's actually pretty good. That Buddhism, I never thought it was like that at all. Because it's not. Buddhism is Buddha. It's not a religion. It's a person. It's an avatar. And you've lost all contact with the avatar. And the avatar is constantly on earth. That is what makes this place what it is. You should know this. It's the basis of most great movies. So that's the little teaching for today. So let's pray. Okay, repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. To guide me into the right activity and the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. So there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the One. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Let the forces of light bring illumination to mankind. Let the spirit of peace be spread abroad. May humanity of goodwill everywhere meet in a spirit of cooperation. May forgiveness on the part of all mankind be the keynote at this time. Let power attend the efforts of the great ones. So let it be, and help us do our part. Let the Lords of Liberation issue forth. Let them bring succor to the sons of mankind. Let the rider from the secret place come forth. And come, say, come forth, O Mighty One. Let the souls of mankind awaken to the light.
Take a deep breath.
And may they stand with massed intent. Let the fiat of the Lord go forth. The end of the woe has come. Come forth, O Mighty One. The hour of service of the saving force has now arrived. Let it be spread abroad, O Mighty One. Let light and love and power and death fulfill the purpose of the coming one. The will to save is here. The love to carry forth the work is widely spread abroad. The active aid of all who know the truth is also here. Come forth, Almighty One, and blend these three. Construct a great defending wall. The rule of evil now must end. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of mankind. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of mankind. May Christ return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, a purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of mankind, let the plan of love and light work out. And may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. I seek to heal, not to hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form, and let life and all events, and bring forth to light the love which underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate and outer cleavage be gone. Let love prevail. Let all mankind love.
Okay, just relax. You can open your eyes. Okay, so that's the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, and the Eightfold Path, and what's known as the Three Jewels. Yeah. So the process of Buddhism is symbology, yeah, and in order for you to really deal with symbology, you've got to study. And then you learn about symbols, and you learn about objects and things, and why they have names they have, yeah. Like a Vajra, yeah. Yeah, you could read in Wikipedia, and you'll get the wrong answer. Yeah, the Vajra comes from Vajradhara, Vajrasattva, yeah. It comes from the Buddha Vajra, yeah. And it's dorje chung, yeah. It's the process of Buddha, yeah. So literally, the Vajra is Buddha, yeah. The influence of the energy that passes up and down your spine, yeah. The upper body, the lower body. You are a Vajra. This is the diamond path. This is Vajra, yeah. And so what happens is that we connect that Vajra, the bottom half of the Vajra, to the top half of the Vajra. The Vajra becomes a whole thing. Without it, it's not a Vajra, it's not even spiritual, has nothing. We have to understand that this is an energy, a conduit of a force that picks up our Vajra energy, yeah? The electricity, the lightning bolt that sits inside of us, that's stored as chi inside of us, as Shakti, yeah? All these things are things you have to study, you have to come to understand, you have to meditate, you have to do certain practices, you have to come to learn the symbols, and you have to come to understand them, and not revere them as a religion, but with enormous wisdom. And then the symbols become you, and you're not so much materialistic. Yeah, there are these symbols. There's beautiful symbols that are within Tibetan Buddhism, within Buddha. Yeah, like this conch. That's one of the symbols. Yeah, an entwining knot. Yeah, that shows the infinity that's involved in Dharma activity, that it's unchanging. Yeah, that everything the symbols are symbols of virtues that are inside you. Yeah, and you're lotus born. You're Vajra. Yeah, you are dorje. Yeah, you are. When you study and you understand, I'm not trying to take you to a language that's Tibetan Buddhism, dorje. This comes from Hinduism, Buddhism. It is a language that interprets a name of a being that it has no like Hindu language to it, or no this language to it. It's actually a divine being, and it comes with this beingness, with a name that is that beingness. Yeah? And so what we know as India, what we know as Tibet, come from these symbols, come from learning about a Vajra, learning about this, learning about Vajradhara, learning about that. That becomes, what is the understanding of Buddhism. They come first in symbols. It comes in consciousness. It comes in seeking a level of awareness, the next level of awareness, another level of awareness. Realizing that, the 3 jewels are 3 jewels. They really are 3 jewels. And the Eightfold Path really is a freaking path that we are making for humanity. We're closing a door and building a wall. That's insane that we are doing this. And we're doing it in a state of collective consciousness. Why? Because we study. We meditate. Yeah? We could be shopkeepers all you want, but you still have to be a practitioner, which means you must study. Yeah? Look up words, look up names, look up titles. Tara does it all the time. I do it all the time. You should do it all the time. Yeah? Just find those things. You got a great library in your phone, easy to hold things together, throw things right over to notes, and just, wow, if I want to look at it again, I'll just go in my notes and then, try and remember what it is I'm looking for, type it in, and it'll come at you. Yeah. It's quite a thing, this little computer you got. Yeah. It'll help you practice the Dharma. It'll help you stay centered in the process of your study. Because this is all about study. It's not about just doing nothing. It's about learning why you're getting spiritual and how spiritual you really already are. Yeah? And you're only recapitulating. Yeah? It's nothing new. It's old. Yeah? That's why it's not a shock. It's home. Yeah? And everybody, as they're waking up, they are family. Rather than being strangers and predators and scary. Yeah? Which is the way it is today. Yeah? And in reality, we're all family members. We're all family members. We're all in the Sangha. We just have to practice. Yep. And we'll build it, and we'll manifest the healing of the enormous door that is open to allow all this confusion in and into yourself. If you leave that door open, if you contact someone, if you make relationships, if you connect to something, and you don't realize that this is starting to get to me, this is making me not a better person, and stop it, and find an alternative way to get it done, and have faith in it, that the Dharma will change it. You don't have to stick with it. The Dharma will freaking change it. It'll get rid of the person, as long as you're aware of the fact that you need to let go, that you do need better. This person needs to be better, You shouldn't be in this situation. They shouldn't be in this situation. So you continue meditating, and you bless them. And you go back, kind of find out they're all Dharma activity, and everybody's like following the truth, and how'd that happen? You. Yeah? You. The Lama, the nun, the practitioner. Yeah? You turn the wheel and you save the community. That's what Dharma is. Dharma is to save the community. Save the community. It's not to create a religion. It's to save the community. Yeah. All right. So, enjoy. Thank you.